yeah, here we are. Alrighty, so we're told about doing this stream here, making a legend car video. So that is exactly what we're gonna do here. Well, not told, but I was told, or I said I would do one. So what we're gonna do. Hold up to my word. So let me take off the cat so it doesn't pop up. Here. Ready. Here we are. Caps overlay is now key thing. So what we can do here is for starters, we're gonna go to. We obviously know we go to thing here. No, not my setups. Iracing setups. Try to find whatever track we're running. This week's Thompson, of course. Now for starters, we always take our air pressures down. Okay. Always down to 10 on the lefts, and then I run 12 on the right front and 13 on the right rear at all times. At every track we go to, that's what I run. All right. We also will then mess with the front stagger, and rear stagger will always be one. Well, not always. You can mess with the rear stagger and front stagger. It all depends on how the setup's feeling. But generally, when I make a setup, I will start with 1 and 1. Generally. Okay. Now, as you can see, our ride heights do not make it, and our springs are really not anywhere near what I run normally. So what we are going to do here is, for starters, I always want the rear springs in the back even. I find out that the car does not change as much throughout a run as it does if you have either this raised or lowered. Okay. We'll get more. If anyone wants to ask more about what each spring does, I can try to say what they do later on in the video once we get the car working. So, all right, here we are. We got a 300, 225. These ride heights right here that you guys see, that's generally that's the general area that you want to run. There's some times where I'll run even ride heights up front. There's sometimes I'll run even ride heights in the back. It all depends on how I drive the car that day, or should I say that week. Sometimes I'll want even. Don't ask me why. It's just some days I'll drive the car super hard, and then other days I'll freaking ease it off into the corner, lift early, let it roll in, and then I'll smash on the gas in the center. So, first off, our springs are 200 in the rears for Thompson, and then in the back here, we're gonna want probably a 325 in the right front. Sorry, not in the back. And then I always run stiffer on my left front than I do my right front. So we're gonna go to 370. Now we'll go to 350. That should help. Now it's gonna re-raise our ride heights up there. 379 to 380, or it was like thinking 351. See how much higher they went? So whenever I make a spring change, I always have to drop my ride heights back down. So we have to go up here a little bit more and bring this back down. Now we're back to blinking. Now, our cross is at 52.7. I generally try to stay in between 49% and 52, or I mean not 52, 50. I saw 52, so I said 52, but no, it's 49% and 50%. I try to stay in between those two areas on every track. That's where I find the car work the best for me. It could be different for you guys. You could like a looser car where you take your cross lower. So what I'll do now is we're gonna lower our cross. So we're gonna lower here, out, 3 clicks, out. Then we're gonna go in here, which will raise it. So it's in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're down to 48.6. So we went too far. Okay. Now what we can do is we will raise this over here, which then raise this side, but then we can drop it here. So now we raise the right front and drop the left front, which brought us down to 49.2. Right. A rule of thumb is that when I run, well, I should have said not when I run. Every time I set up a car, normally I don't go from scratch. You can normally carry over one setup to the next, okay, to the next track. Sometimes you gotta start from scratch, but most of the time you can just take setup from track to track. But I run max camber in the left front, okay, for the Legend car. I mean, it's just something that I found works best. It slows the car down more with more contact patch if you try to even out your temperatures. But the left side tires, I never look at after doing a run. It never freaking helps. And then the right front camber, we'll start out at max right front camber out to start. Okay. And then we will run max caster on the right front. I'll probably run around 4.3 in the left front. That'll give you a little bit heavier feel in the wheel. And it will also, I don't know how to explain it. It'll make it turn into the corner a little bit easier. Alright. What else to explain here? Before we go out and just take it for a ride and see how it feels. See our cross, now that we changed our casters and cambers, look how much our cross has changed. We went down to 48.3, so now we need to bring our cross back up. So in order to bring our cross back up, we need to either go in here. In is on the left-hand side. That's what I say. In and then out. All right. That's how I always remembered it. In, out, in, out. Left side in, right side out. So what we'll do now is let's go in the right front. And then we'll go out the left front again, 48.9. Now, we are going to go in the left rear, and in the right front again. Now, that put our cross way up to 49.6. And then we're going to go out of the left front, which will bring us up to 49.9. But now we can raise the right rear a little bit, and we brought it back down to 49.5. Which would be perfect amount right there. We got our air pressure set, our staggers. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Save As. And I'm going to save it as Thompson here. Now, I'm going to go to Iracing Setups, and I'm going to load the Thompson default setup. We're going to go out and just run the Thompson default setup for 5 laps and see what we hit. And then those changes I just made, we are going to change that. I'm gonna reload it back in, and we will go out and see the difference in times. So, go. Sorry, I had to turn my shifter. I have an old G25 shifter I use, and it turns sequential. So. Set it to session best lap. Now 5 laps. You always got to remember, you got to bring the tires up to temperature. 22.6. So your first 2-3 laps ain't gonna count. Well, they'll count, but you're just going out there and just getting a feel for it. Now remember this is the default setup that we're on right now.
22.612.
remember at Thompson, you got to stay high. The faster line is the high line. If you run down in the black, you will get loose.
6.
I mean, as I can feel, this setup, default setup already, is really tight. We go into the corner and the car doesn't want to turn. It just pushes. I mean, we can lift earlier, brake earlier, no matter what. As soon as we go to put gas into it, it just wants to push. It doesn't want to get loose. So.
22.562.
We put a lot of wheel in there. No, John, we are actually making a setup legend car video here. Because everyone's always asking me for one, so I figured I'd do one.
22.562.
Alright, and that's our 5 laps on the default Thompson baseline. Now with the changes we made before, we will load them in now. Where are we at here? What I'm doing here? Lost. Alright, now we go to my setups and I find Thompson. Now with the changes that we made, now we're gonna go out and run 5 laps again. We see our first 5 laps here are 642, 612, 556, 562, 562. Consistent. Alright. Now we're gonna go out with 5 other ones. Should I say we can check the temperature and wear first if you want and write it down. I'm really not too worried about it right off the baseline because they didn't have any of the changes that I was talking about. But now that we have the changes, I'll write them down after this, or I'll take a picture with my phone. That way I know what they were. Okay. Like, I used to write them down after every race. I'd write them down. Or when I save the setup, I save it as the weather. It'll say like S for season 3 of 2020. It'll say S320. Then there'll be a space and it'll say R for race, period. And then like whatever the cloudy state is. I mean the cloud state. If it's mostly cloudy, it'll say MC. If it's partly cloudy, you'll see PC. If it's overcast, I'll put O. So it would look like this. Let's save as. It'll say S320. Season 320. And then it'll say race, or R for race, dash PC for partly cloudy. And then it'll say period, track temp, and whatever the track temp is. Right now the track temp happens to be 99 degrees. 99. Alright, and then I'll put right front, so on and so forth. Right front would be 94% after we're done doing the race. I'd put whatever this number is in the middle. It would say right front 94, and this one would say, I'm hoping right rear 94. That's what I always hope for when we're done with the race. I always want these two to wear the same. Left sides on this new tire model are pretty much irrelevant. I don't understand it, but it's the way they are. So now with our changes, we're going to go out and run our 5 laps. Now we have a massive cloud over the track, as you can see. Alright, as we can see already, our car's loose with our changes. So now what I'll do is, I know already we went into that corner and I was loose. In one corner I felt that our car is no good compared to the first time we went in with the other setup. So what we'll do, what I do is I come back in here and I look at all of our stuff again and I'm like, why am I so loose getting in the corner? Here it is. We are really soft on right front to get in the corner at the speeds we do here and then turn the car. So I'm going to raise the right front spring rate, not the cross, the spring rate here, so it accepts more weight. And then I'm going to raise the left front because, as I said, I always run my left front stiffer than my right front. So we're going to raise them both, and we're back down to 49.5. It's blinking between 49.5 and 6. But our left front ride height now is not as low as we can go. So we need to lower this back down, and with one click, and then we're going to lower this back down, and our left front starts to click again. I lowered both of these back down one click, which is out and out. Put us right back down, and our cross weight is back to the same. A lot of talking. Not expecting this. Ugh. Yeah, now that time we didn't get loose getting in through the corner because we stiffened up that front end. It would not accept as the weight transfer as much as quickly. So now we're already freaking
22.201.
Now these tire pressures are a lot lower, so you have to give them a little bit more to come up to temperature here. As we go, every lap should get faster and faster.
22.153. .091. 22.024. 22.028.
There's our next 5 laps. That's minus the changes. Now, if we were tight, which it doesn't feel like it's tight, but we have to go look at our tire wear, or tire temperature, should I say. For when you do a short run, 5 laps, 10 laps, you can look at the temperature. After that, you have to go off the wear. So now, as you can see, our temperatures are 196 on our inside edge, so that means we gotta adjust our camber to even this out a little bit more. Okay? Even though our wear is still good, we're gonna even it out a little bit more. And our right rear is the same temperature as the right front. It's actually a really balanced car right now. But I know we can go faster. Right? I don't believe we have the right gear in. We're not getting anywhere near where I like to be at the end of the straightaway. So first off, we're gonna even out our camber more because right now it's maxed. We don't want to be riding on that inside edge so much. Wrong one. So we're gonna lower this down a little bit. Probably go, I'd say 5.4 should be nice. For some odd reason, it raises the car when you lower the camber. Don't ask me how that works. It does it for some reason in Sim. So I'm gonna lower that back down. That put us down our 49.4 cross that we were at before. Okay. So that did that. Now, whoa. I didn't notice we had 5 gallons of fuel in the car here. Let's put that down to 2 gallons. You need 2 gallons for this track. I did not take notice of that. Totally forgot about it. But that shouldn't change us really all that much. We're still at 49.4 cross. And I mean, if you go down to 1.1, you're still at 49 Fort Cross. So, but you need 2 gallons at Thompson, USA, Concord. You need 2 gallons of fuel every time you go there. Don't ask me why. I don't understand why Thompson is only 30 laps, USA is 40. I don't get it. USA is a bigger track, but it's the way it goes. Now, as we said before, our temperatures look the same here, but our inside edge. But now we lowered that down here, and yeah, we lost a little bit cross, so that should loosen us up a little bit because our inside edge was 196. Now, if we even that out, it should probably be around 190, I would think. Because it might be 189 actually, but if we would even that out completely, it's probably around 189, a little bit on the higher side. So we're at 189 here, which is really good, and 196, 189 here. Now, after like a 5-lap, 6-lap run, I always try to get this the inside edge matched up with this, with the right rear. Sometimes the outer edge will be hotter, sometimes the inner edge will be hotter on the rear, but that's why I always try to go off of the middle number on the right rear. The left sides, like I said, are irrelevant. I mean, look how much hotter these got compared to this. And these won't wear either nearly as much as this side. So as we had before, 1-to-1. Yeah, let's go back out now with our changes again that we just made. And yeah, let's save this as Thompson. Setup changes 2. Okay. Just so that way we know if we have to go back to it, or if you guys want it, I can send it to you. I mean, as you can see, you can do it yourself. Put all these numbers in, and it comes up to yourself. I never mess with the front wheel offset because we don't go to road courses. If you do that, like if the default is like 5/8 off for ovals of an inch offset. So if you do that and make it less, or it's about like less than an eighth, I guess you can say, it'll put more weight on the right front tire. It'll suck it in, put more weight there too. We go from 328 pounds to 334. 6 pounds it puts there. And then it takes it off of the left front when you do that. It goes from 360 to 354, it was just that. So the default is 5/8. Front brake bias, that's all preference for if you guys like braking and where you brake. If you like to brake hard, quick, slow the car down later, but put more wear on the tires, you want it higher. And you have to like it'll make you push the car. It'll make the car push when you get on the brake. Sometimes in a Legend car though, because it is such a small wheelbase, it will make you get really loose because it throws all the weight to the right front, and your right front can't accept it that quickly. So we're gonna take that down to 71 or 72%. Sorry. All right, and then we're our negative 16th toe out still, and I'm not positive about the gear. Forget what we ran here last season. Let's go back out for our next 5.
.04.
It's the wall in the same spot, I think, on the same lap too.
22.069.
Now the car, it'll feel like it's
22.041.
it doesn't have as much cut in the center, moving the camber down. So, but the car just rolls better. It sticks to the track a little bit easier. Do lap 4 right here.
22.028.
Yes, we do, Razor. Then now we're coming up on lap 5. Or lap 5 of the 5 lap stint, okay.
22.057.
And whenever you stop to, when you build your setup, you never want to slide the tires. If you slide the tires, that just voids all the temperatures in them. Alrighty. Now, we see we're at 192, 187, 183. 185 on the right rear. Notice how we brought the temperatures down now. We got the car feeling a little bit better by bringing the temperatures down. Okay. I like that. Before it was 194 to 180, or 196 to 184. Alright. I'm pretty positive. I could be wrong. But now we are generally closer to this number. To the middle of this number. Okay? That was a 5 lap run. As we would go here, if we would keep racing this race, we'd probably get tight as we went on. And so what I'll do now is I'll loosen the car up a little bit. Not much. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll raise the rear end of the car on both sides. We'll go in, then we'll lower the right front back down. Okay. So when we raise the rear, this one lost cross, this gain cross. But it brought our front end up too. Brought the ride height up there too. We don't want that much up there, so then we always have to drop back down. Now we're blinking back on the left front, which I'm happy with. I'm also okay with 3.52 I try to aim for. 48.8 cross, that is a little bit lower than what I normally like to run. But it's okay. You can run that. It'll loosen the car up a little bit more if you like a looser car. So we need to figure out a way to get this up again. So what we're going to do is we'll go in here, which brings us back up to 49.2. And then let's go out on the right front. That brought us to 48.9. So we're going to do the same thing. Okay. We're going to go in, out. Now we're back to 49. We're between 49 and 50 again. I like it. So now we're going to head back out, or we're going to go in the replay here because I want to look at my gear. So I'm going to go to cockpit view, and we're going to go back to our laps here. And we're going to look at the red light, see when we come on here. And see how long we're on for. See, we are not hitting the chip. We don't want to be hitting the chip. We want to be lifting right before it. And getting into turn 1, we're pretty much there. The gear is there, but there are multiple gears you can run here. Okay. So we'll stick with this gear for now, but let's head back out. Toggle on this reference thing here. Oh. As you can see, we tap out right around, what is it? Be like 11. Not 11, but 10.5 it taps, 11, 10.8, somewhere around there. They'll tap out. So we were turning that red light on, but we still had another 300 RPM we could have went before it taps out. so we didn't change that gear. But let's run our 5 laps.
22.764.
I hit the wall again the second lap on the stint.
.088.
Now we're tight. The car is really tight right now. And the only thing I can contribute that to is the rear end's way up in the air. It'll make you tighter on exit.
22.126.
Higher right rear itself will make you looser on exit. But when you raise both of them, it'll make you a little bit tighter. But you have to give the tires time again too.
22.008.
That was our fastest lap yet. Now we're going to get even faster this lap, hopefully. Nice corner right. Gonna be close.
22.007.
22-second bracket. So we got down to 22.07. Our optimal is now 22 even. Let's go back in and look at our temps again. Look how good the temps look. 195 to 185, 10 degrees across, which I think we had that before. Okay. Or no, we didn't. It was 196 to 184, I believe. I need to really write these down. I keep forgetting. I'm not taking pictures with my phone, but I should be. But we're a little tight through the center. If we take some stagger out of the front end, okay, this will loosen us up, like center off, okay? Well, hard to tell. No, not center off, center in. My bad. The more front stagger you have, the tighter in the car will be. So the sim says. There's some stuff that is wrong with the sim. But when we lowered our stagger there, it put a smaller right front tire on the car. It had to have. Or no, put a bigger right front. Wait, what are we at here? 3.59. Now let's go to here. 3.55. And this one only fell 0.1. So it puts a smaller right front tire on to shrink up the stagger. When you raise it, it puts the bigger right front tire on. Or a smaller left side, and then you get what I'm saying. So now we're at 48.7, so we're going to raise this up, left rear, back up one click. Left rear, although we didn't touch nothing back here, we're going to raise this back up to get this ride height up. We always want this to stay as close to the ground as possible, left front. Alright? So, now we're at 49.1% cross, which I'm okay with because I was a little tight before. But what I'm not okay with was that initial how it felt on the first 2 laps. So I'm going to drop my rear end ride heights back down some. 3 clicks each I went. Now we're still at 49.1% cross. Now, these are really low. Way too low if you ask me. I mean, this one obviously won't even let you pass. So we're going to raise it 1 click each up here. And that puts us back to our 49.1% cross. And our ride heights in the back are not as high. We want a little bit more RPM, and right now we're in 5th gear. So we know it has to be a different gear within this range here. If I'm correct, 4th gear setup would be a... Ooh, is there 330 or 293? I think it's a 30 because that's 28 points. I forget how it goes exactly, but we'll try it. And this will be a 4th gear now. Tap out. See, now we're tapping out. That's no good. You don't want to tap out. So 330 is not the way to go here. So now we're going to try 250. Which should be a 3rd gear set. I know most of you people are just going to look at the video, see the setup, and be like, alright, I'm putting that setup in. Which is all fine and dandy, but if you want to learn what each thing does, is why I'm here right now. I really wanted to run the street stock race that's about to go off, or the SK race, but I figured, you know what? Maybe we ought to. Hold on, let me see how many people are in there. SK has 26. Street stock has 26 now. We'll continue running here. Sorry, hold on, let me reset.
22.539.
But we're still going to run for 5 laps. And then we'll go run a street stock race just to take a little break. Because, yeah, we want to try to get some iRating today. So, yeah. Alright, let's go out and run our 5 laps now with all of our changes. Our gear, our springs, our ride heights, our stagger, everything. This should be probably the set right here that I would think is going to be the golden ticket. This is, I mean, as you can see, it's freaking over half a second faster right now than it was, than the baseline Thompson set. I mean, and you can already see we're in the green. On our first lap. Remember last time on our first lap we were down by a lot. And we're down by a lot this time?
22.065.
I didn't hit the wall that time. Now, as the gear, you can see we don't have as many RPMs now. We're not turning the red light on nearly as soon as we were before. Which means it's going to tighten the car up because we don't have that RPM. But we can get into the corner better because it doesn't slow the car down. The higher RPM that you have before you lift, that engine, it's like an engine brake. The exhaust will slow you down because it's like, you know, the RPM will back you down. So with this one, this lets us get in the corner better because it rolls more.
22.1.
It rolls more freely before it breaks it. And then, but it has no pull-up lock. So this gear is no good either for this weather, which is 99 degrees. So what we'll do here is put that other gear back in, run our 5 laps, then we'll go run the streeters. And as you can see, look, it's freaking way hotter now. I mean, 2 degrees here when our first set, the first one that we did was even. Alright, but the car did not feel good. And notice how these are almost even. So, we are going to go to, what was that, 358? 42. Yeah, I think it was 358. I don't know. Not positive. Probably should have like scripted all this out, but why would I want to script something out when we're supposed to just do it? I mean, you learn it. While we're racing street stocks, if anyone wants to go back and watch the video, click on the channel and go to videos, and it'll say like video started, I don't know, however long ago, half an hour ago. And you can rewind that video and you can see what we've done so far and ask questions, and then I can go into more detail about it. You get what I'm saying?
.115.
Car does not feel faster at all anymore.
Ready to get embarrassed.
What?
Ready to get embarrassed.
By who?
Not me, I'm 4 tenths off space.
22.11.
My teammates will pop up in the Discord, I'm just gonna wreck them.
As we go on, guys, it'll get looser. It should get looser and looser. Hopefully it doesn't get tighter and tighter. We just have to go back and look at the tire there. You can go down on the back stuff to loosen the car up if you want. Going down there will loosen the car up, but it'll also make you go slower because you ain't gonna be as fast. As you can see, we're picking up more and more as we go.
22.06.
The car is loosening up more and more.
.05.
Huh?
You do know you're in the street stock race, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure.
No, I just want to. I wasn't gonna do it, and I was like, oh, we better do it. We need a break. I'm tired of running 5.5. I ran what? Five laps, 5 laps, 5 laps, 5 laps. 1, 3, and then 5 again. Now let's go back and look at our wear here. And now we're back to what we were before, but our wear's closer on the right front.
Hello?
And our left sides are at 100%, and we got faster.
Latham just left.
Why?
Probably because I joined.
Oh, what the fuck's you do to him?
Nothing, it's just me.
Aiden Saunders, everybody. There you go. That's why
Yeah.
people leave.
Yep.
Alright, so we're going to save this as Thompson.
See ya.
Later. Thompson, 94 degrees track temp. Partly cloudy, sorry. Partly cloudy. Track temp. 94. Just so I can reload it back in to make sure we have it. After the street stock race. Alright. And then now let's hop in that street stock race. Ain't got much time here. Data UI. He says, you know you're in the street stock race, right? No. Not at all. Now, if you guys want to go back and watch the video and then tell me if you or ask any questions, I can go back and tell you what everything does. But for me to sit here and go through every adjustment and show you how it works, that'd just be way too much. Yeah. I can explain what each thing does and then show you. But the major stuff, if you have questions about it, I can do it and show you why I wouldn't do it. But yeah. Questions would be way easier for me to answer, like, and do and show you then, than it would for me to just say, oh, do this, do this, do this, and it'll fix it. Can't run 300-pound springs if the right front spring or the front springs only max out at 525. You need stiffer springs then up front.
Holy shit. I'll have to look at the entry list. I got an entry list if you run cars.
Why, Matt? Why?
I mean, you're obviously
That's me,
the
by
same
the
kid
way.
who said Philip Morris
Somebody
was
else
Lee
does,
Coy
they're
and
gonna
his crew
ask
chief.
the same
So.
question, I gotta answer it.
No.